Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. We already have a Human Rights Commission in Bangladesh, and we know the limitations that the existing Human Rights Commission has. This is an opportunity for us to step up, set up a commission that will be truly committed to the cause of human rights and that will have all the tools in its hand to apply to ensure that the complex human rights situation in Bangladesh is addressed properly and gives people a sense of satisfaction. The fact that a judge will be the chairperson of the commission, to be very honest, does not immediately give me that satisfaction. If judges were always very judicious, then the trend of extrajudicial killing that we have seen over the years would not have been a reality. Of course, the judiciary came forward and gave direction against mass arrest, but we find a degree of helplessness in the judiciary also in getting its directives and decisions implemented. I think the piece of law that we now have in hand is a good one. It has talked about diverse functions of the Commission: investigation, recommendation, arranging for compensation, giving advice, training the law enforcement agencies, facilitating arbitration and mediation. What is important for us to understand how we will capacitate that commission. Just putting some people in the chair will not be enough. There has to be provision to orient them with the soft values around human rights and the hardcore steps that are needed. I see the action points very well drafted here. We'll be discussing it and further improvising it, but the soft things have to be incorporated and thought through. The consequence of the recommendations of the Commission, will it only be creating moral force? In a country like Bangladesh, creating moral force also cannot be underestimated, but the consequences actually have to be very clearly spelt out. So if there is an arbitration, mediation, what's the legal consequence of it? There is a decision coming out from the arbitration. How do we make sure that it's enforced? Because even in the corporate world, when there is arbitration, when there is mediation, they do not necessarily get implemented. A further step has to be followed. I think the draft that we have in hand, I'll say I'll take 80% of it, but there are some areas where we can certainly improve. A definition of person should actually be included in the definition clause to include government agencies and the law enforcement agencies. That is very, very important. So I believe we are in the right direction. All the aspirations, all the grievances, and the intention to come out of that grey situation has been well reflected, and this law will actually be complemented by the police commission, by the women commission if we manage to get one, by the disappearance commission, media commission. So this will not be a standalone piece of law. So when we improvise it, strengthen its provisions, now that we are in the process of drafting the other laws also, I think we should make sure that we establish the necessary connections and the other laws are also mutually reinforcing. One last point from my side is, in addition to force, definition of person, soft values of human rights, capacitating the Commission itself is also kind of evaluating the performance of the Human Rights Commission. I see a word called ombudsperson here. I don't know how that will be translated and given effect to. I see they have set an age limit of 35 for the members. In this Gen Z generation time, I think that can also be reconsidered. So the small issues I'll definitely share in writing with the panel that will be discussing this. If a commission is to investigate and if a commission has to assist in criminal proceedings, I think commission needs to have its own panel of lawyers, and the commission has to be working very closely with the police force. With these words, I would for now stop here. I congratulate the Ministry of Law for being very patient in dealing with very impatient and passionate people like me and Adilur Rahman. And I thank all the partners here who are unconditionally assisting the government to come up with a law that will actually be protecting people. Please do not only protect the human rights defenders. Please also protect the environmental human rights defenders, because the UN has a separate arrangement to deal with environmental human rights defenders, and the number of environmental human rights defenders being killed is actually very frightening, and their number are on a rise. So with these words, hoping that the day will be very engaging and we'll be altogether able to add more value to this draft piece of law. Thank you very much.